Hanchikiwa, hello, how are you all? Welcome to Homelands, originally broadcast on CFCR Community Radio 90.5 FM in Saskatoon, Homelands of the Métis and Treaty 6 Territory, CFCR.ca. This is your favorite auntie, Andrea Letting Dishni Kashoon. My name is Andrea Letting. Call me Auntie Andy if you like, and I'll be your host over this next half hour. I am part settler, part relative, and 100% ally and relation to everyone. I'm just me, not a card-carrying member of an Indigenous nation, but I am loved, adopted, related to, and accepted by many, rejected by a few, but haters gonna hate, relators gonna relate. I am blessed to have Indigenous relations in my family and secretly may love them a little bit more than all the rest, only because they're the first peoples of this land who welcome all the guests. I also have some Irish and some Scandinavian, along with a little bit of mystery. And that's the way I was raised, strongly anti-decolonial, actually, and justice-oriented, with a big related heart for all. I most empathize with my Batosh Métis friends and family and that history and culture growing up, and as an adult have continued to try to live that Mekiwin, that beautiful good life. So from the fringes of the sash, I situate myself as a relative and an ally, and welcome you, my listeners, as brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, cousins in the Homelands. So let's welcome our relatives tonight. So this evening we have two people with us from the cast of the Rez Christmas special coming up from GTNT. So we have Ezra Forrest, who is a Two-Spirit Cree from Mesquachus, Alberta, Treaty 6 Territory. They currently reside in Vancouver, BC, but have returned to the Snowy Plains for this Christmas show. They are a 2015 to 2016 Circle of Voices graduate with GTNT, which is, of course, Gordon Peeteetuce's Naganoan Theatre, and also a 2019 Wichita-Win Theatre Program graduate from the University of Saskatchewan. Ezra was nominated for the 2020 SEDA's Emerging Artist, which is the Saskatoon and Area Theatre Association, and also Best Original Script, because Ezra is a playwright and poet as well as an actor. They are happy to reprise their role of Zula from Mekiwin, A Gift, which is the GTNT Christmas show at the Broadway Theatre. We also have Dalton Lightfoot, who is a Saskatoon-based actor who is part of Moosomin First Nation. Dalton is thrilled to be working with Gordon Peeteetuce's Naganoan Theatre again. Previous acting credits include Alice in Wonderland, The Pied Piper, Hercules, The Hockey Sweater, Earth Diver, which was with some theatre, Midsummer Night's Dream, The Tempest, and which was a roving show in 2016, Comedy of Errors, As You Like It, in 2019, which was on Shakespeare in Saskatchewan, and then, of course, Nichimus, The Last Rez Christmas Story, Kohkoms in Toyland, Vegas Vacation, Alone at Home, and Hospitals and Broken Pianos. And those last several shows were, of course, with GTNT, Gordon Peeteetuce's Naganoan Theatre, as well as 2014's Shortcuts 10-Minute Play Festival through Hardly Art Theatre. Dalton is excited to be back on the stage and working with a bunch of talented and awesome individuals. So yeah, welcome you guys. It's so good to see you.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about your journey to the stage. Like, did you always love performing when you were a kid, or did you come into it as a teenager, or kind of what was your journeys?
Rock, paper, scissors?
Sure.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Oh. You go ahead.
Okay, so I have been performing since I was in elementary school. I started off as a talent show specialist. I also was a dancer when I was a kid, a jingle dress dancer and a fancy dancer. And I got to use that as a outlet for, what's the word? Spiritual awakening when I was a kid, and as a performer as well, and also someone who partakes in storytelling and ceremony. And so I did that when I was in Calgary for a couple of years, and then I moved to BC, where I was acting on the talent show stage, and then I moved to Saskatoon, where I continued being on the talent show stage, and then when I was 17, I joined the Circle of Voices program with GTNT, which was SNTC at the time, and I wanted to be in COV when I was 14, but joined in 17, and then I graduated the program, and I just continued working with different theater companies since then, and that's kind of the story. Yeah.
My journey was, I was never really knew much about theater. And then I did the Kinsman Young Company, which is a program that Persephone does for, it's like the COV program where they bring in youth and then they teach them about theater and everything. And then eventually we do a show at the end of the program. So that was my kind of training. And then I really liked it. And then I graduated high school and didn't really know what to do. But thankfully, I did some auditions, and then I was able to get into the theater community in Saskatoon, and then start doing shows around Saskatoon, and we toured around Saskatchewan and everything like that. So that was my journey, and ever since then, I've really enjoyed it, and I love performing, and glad to be here doing the Christmas show again.
Right on. So before we get into the Christmas show, what are some of the things you guys love about performing, and what are the hard parts and what are the fun parts, and a little bit more about that life, that theater life?
Theater life it's interesting because you have the responsibility to tell a story, but then you also have responsibility as an artist to make sure you're telling that story authentically, which also makes it really fun too, because then you get to experience and experiment the multiple areas of emotions and physicalities on stage that you can come to life for a story.
Yeah, I like the how you start a show and you can't stop until the show's over. So with film, I mean, they can yell cut and everything like that and make everything look perfect. But if you mess up on stage, then you have to deal with it, and then you got to move on and stuff and keep the show going and stuff like that. So I like that part, the thrill of just like anything could happen in a show, and no one show is going to be the same or anything like that, which is I really enjoy that part of it.
Right on. What are some tips you have for maybe like listeners that might be interested in like pursuing their dreams of being on stage, or what were some of the things that helped you or things that you learned?
I would say if you have a feeling like you want to be an actor or you want to tell stories, and just go for it. Just go for it. Take as many opportunities as you can, sign up, audition, practice, watch a lot of movies, read books, read poems, listen to music, read Shakespeare, read literature, read contemporary literature, read nonfiction too, like do anything you can that is arts, based. And then you are halfway there.
Yeah, and you have a bunch of new elements nowadays, like TikTok and all these other things and stuff, where like the camera quality on a phone is a lot better now, and it's like you can film a lot of like high quality things, and you can even like edit it on your phone too and stuff like that. So making stuff happen for yourself is very important. That'll give you the ability to figure out what you like, what you don't like, your strengths and everything. And it is challenging trying to create something from scratch, trying to get people involved and everything. And then there's like grant writing and funds and stuff like that that go into it, and there's all these other elements about it. But just focusing on what you want to do as an artist is the best way to approach it. So if you want to write, start writing scripts. If you want to direct, start watching shows and everything, and talking with directors and everything like that. Like a lot of artists start off doing like acting and everything like that, and then later on in their careers they figure that maybe I should try something else, and then they go on to either directing or writing or producing or whatever, and then they find a whole new level of appreciation and love for the arts and stuff like that. So you never really know going into it that this is going to be what you want. It very well might change, and that happens all the time. So right now I've been doing acting and I really love it, but I definitely want to go on and to do more directing and stuff like that too, for sure.
Right on. So tell us a bit about the show. So I was lucky enough to sit in on the dress rehearsal and watch you guys in action. But for somebody who maybe has seen the previous Rez Christmas series with the three kohkoms, or maybe somebody who hasn't seen it at all, what can they expect?
It's like the playwright Curtis Peeteetuce has described it as Golden Girls on the Rez. So that's definitely the feel of it. It's a comedy show. There's a lot of crazy misunderstandings and a bunch of hijinks that go on and everything like that, especially between the cookums. And so basically, you don't need to see one show in order to make the other show make sense. The only thing that really carries over is the characters and everything. So Claire Bear, Zula, and Sigus, those are the main three cookums that are in every single Christmas show. And then those are the three cookums who've been based off of like the Golden Girls and stuff like that, and other people, other actual cookums in Curtis's life that he's based them off of that. So it's basically just sitting down and watching a live sitcom, and it's definitely like that. It's very fun and very entertaining.
Mhm. It's very much like watching a TV show, but on stage. There's just so many things that are in the show that you won't expect, or that you think you will expect in the next scene or in this one, but then it just completely takes you in for a whirlwind of all these different, beautiful, authentic emotions, I think.
Yeah. So tell us more about the fun and the challenge of playing these roles. So of course, first you're cross-dressing into a cookum genre, a cookum identity, and that kind of thing. So you're not only playing a female role, but also an older woman role. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Doing that, it took a little while to get used to it, the first like year of doing the Christmas show. But once I got used to it, it was a lot more fun. And then you just play it up, and being able to portray some of these characters. This is the second time I've played Claire, so it's very cool to have the base for how Claire should act and present herself, and then just build off of that, and then just have it be like even bigger and better and more comfortable and stuff like that. And yeah, that's an interesting thing too, is to try and be as not like a caricature or anything like that. Try and be as respectful as you can and stuff, because nowadays and everything, it's important for people to be portrayed authentically, both with how they're cast and how they're portrayed and everything like that. So me not being a cookum or anything like that, and I'll never be a cookum, I'll be a mushum, maybe, who knows? And then that'll be, it's important to bring a level of respect to that as well, and have it not be just some big zany character. And Danny Knight does a very good job of reeling that in too. Whenever you get too crazy on stage, he's like, just bring it back a bit. He's a very good director.
Yeah, being a cookum is really fun, because it's just, old people get all this hype about being grumpy people, but then in the show, in past shows, when I was in Love Actually, I got to be a grumpy cookum, and it actually felt really close to my personal character, my personal self, and it was really fun for me to kind of get lost and let loose, and just being something completely different than what people expect you to be. To be the cookum in this show, I've been having a lot of fun. I think that's kind of all I can say about
that. So both of you have played the characters in other seasons, in other years. What have you found coming back to the role? How has that helped, or what has that experience been like?
For me, it's been like picking up like a treasure trail off the ground. Like I'll find something and I'll find something more, and it's like each time is a treat for me to have. I think the more I've played Zula, I've found more of a gentleness to her, whereas in the first show that I played her in, she was more rough, but this one she's gentler, but she's grumpier at the same time.
Yeah, portraying the same characters over and over again is really fun, because you can you've seen either the shows or you've been in the shows or something like that, and so what those characters are initially going to be like. So Claire is always like, crazy and wild and everything like that, and so that's like the energy that you bring into it. And so that's really fun, building off of that and figuring out how how far you can go and stuff with, just these zany situations that they get into and stuff.
And you showed me a completely funnier side to Claire than I've seen Claire play before. So every year is like an upgrade.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the dress rehearsal. I mean, it's a lot of fun. So what can you, without giving like too much of the plot away, so Curtis told me, I had a good discussion with him the other day, and he said, he always starts out these plays with just a title, kind of an idea from a title, and then he goes from there. So in this one, it's Mekiwin, it's The Gift. So kind of what can you tell us about, without giving everything away, what kind of is the play about this Christmas?
I would say would be
Family.
Yeah,
like especially nowadays with COVID and everything like that. Sometimes, like last year, my family didn't get together or anything like that, and so it can be a big struggle for families who don't get to see each other because of transportation issues or COVID or whatever may be going on. And that's an element in this play that certain people aren't able to come for Christmas, and so it's just this kind of this thing that like people can relate to because they may have been in that situation and everything like that, where they can't be with somebody on Christmas or anything like that, which is this big get together kind of day. You think of Christmas and you think of people gathering and stuff. So there's that element in the play. That's like probably the overall element is family and coming together and just pushing through hard times and stuff like that. And it has a really positive message and a very, very sweet ending too.
About making the most.
Right.
And then there's the other zany elements of like there's a misunderstanding between Sea Goose and Claire. There's these crazy dream sequences that Zula has, and it's just like, it's super cool. There's a bunch of like superhero elements and stuff in it, and a few fight scenes and everything. So it's a crazy show for sure.
Yeah, there's lots going on, and I love the physicality of it as well. Like they're very physical roles, and it really takes up the stage, and it's very fast moving as well, and lots of funny moments as well as moving moments, I think, which Curtis always does a really good job of capturing both the humor and then the pulling at the heartstrings a little bit, right? In terms of that.
Definitely. And it's great having somebody like Danny, who's a comedian and everything. Like his job is making people laugh. So having him as our director really brings those elements to life as well and stuff. So it's good to have him on board.
Yeah, for sure. And is this like Danny's done lots of acting, and then he's done like of course stand-up comedy, and then his series just got a big award, the comedy series that he's doing, that kind of thing. Is this his first role directing, or has he done some directing before, or second time?
This is second.
Okay.
Yeah, last year he wrote with Dakota Ray Hebert and I don't know the other person's name, somebody else. And so he wrote that play, and he also directed that play as well last year.
Right on. Yeah. So that's exciting. It's cool to see, people move kind of through the ranks and try new things and that kind of thing. So yeah. What else would you like to tell us about? So you're kind of half the stage members, and then there's four cast members in total. So Juanita Singing Bird, and then Sean Cut Hand. So there's the four of you. And how many roles do you guys play all together? Because these plays are known for having these quick costume changes where you kind of play more than one role. So about how many characters are you guys all playing?
We got the three kohkoms, then we got the doctor and the nurse, then we got the gangster, and then Little Fire, Deadly Man, and then
TV voice,
and then Cody.
And then Cody.
Yeah, so I guess there's about 10 characters altogether that we split up between each other. So I play Claire Bear and Cody, Cody Morasti, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah, and I play Zula.
Yeah, and it's been really good working with Juanita and Sean. This is Sean's first show, I believe,
Mhm.
and you never really know it when you, especially when you see him on stage and stuff like that. You won't really know that it's his first show because he's just doing really good. All the notes that Danny's giving him, he's just like nailing it out of the park and everything. And then Juanita is just like,
Incredible.
yeah.
She's so funny. Like, she will make something funny that you didn't think could be funny, or you didn't know, like, it could be taken to a place where she's taking it to. Juanita, she no, like, she makes Danny laugh almost every single run. She sometimes like makes me break character, or it's just I'll be backstage and I'll just be like laughing in my hands because like it's just like, wow, she's perfect for her role. Like, she's amazing.
Yeah, Seagoose is the most intimidating role out of like the three Cookums for sure.
Mhm.
And everybody who's portrayed Seagoose has been really good, and Juanita is just right up there, like
Mhm.
fantastic.
Yeah, her facial expressions kill me. Like, just watching her made me laugh, right? So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, compared to kind of some of the other Rez Christmas shows you've been in, what are some of the how am I trying to say this? What are some of the kind of the comparisons that you see and what you hear from the audience, kind of thing, like the responses that you get?
I was curious with the responses because my family, they all live on Red Pheasant Reserve by North Battleford, and it was the first time they saw the show a couple of years ago. And so I was very nervous about what they were going to think because they live on the res. I mainly live in the city and stuff like that. So we have a very different kind of lifestyle, and they know this kind of lifestyle that we're trying to portray. But they loved it. They loved it. They're definitely gonna make every effort to come back this year and stuff. And so every time I go and visit them, they're all just like, "Oh yeah, this is Dalton. He's an actor. He's done all this stuff. You know, you should go see his play. It's really good." It's like, so yeah, that was really good. It's really nice, especially going to the reserves and everything because we tour with this show. So seeing them get a huge laugh and everything, like basically right from the source, you know, like we're portraying these kookums on a reserve and everything. So to go to different reserves and portray it and have it be received so well, it's really rewarding for sure.
Mhm. Can I ask you to rephrase that question a little bit differently?
Sure. So, what kind of responses and reactions have you gotten from the audience when you've done the different Christmas plays, and what have been some of the things that you've learned along the way, or things that surprised you, or things that you were uncertain about that you learned, kind of thing?
I think it would be that every audience member will interpret the show differently, and that every person will see something that the other person doesn't. And whether we've toured it, or whether we've done it at the Broadway, or whether we've done a recording, I've asked people what they thought about the show, and everyone would tell me something different, like, "Oh, I thought it was beautiful," or, "Oh, I thought it was strong," or, "I thought it was like this." They thought it was happy. They thought that it was sad. They thought that it was like a mixture of everything. Like, yeah. So I just think everyone has a different view, and I really like that about live theater, that everyone gets to see it this year too.
Yeah, that's really cool because you get to some jokes will not work in certain areas. Like sometimes you do a joke, especially when you tour, and then you do it in an area and it kills. It's amazing. Everybody loves it. Then you go to another area of Saskatchewan and it's just like nothing, dead silence and stuff like that. So it's very interesting, like seeing those things, like which jokes land in which areas and everything like that. So that's definitely a cool element of it as well.
So the show is gonna open, I think, is it the December 15th? Is that right? Or
Yes,
Broadway Theatre?
December 15th to 19th at the Broadway Theatre.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of matinees and school shows as well as evening shows. And of course, all the safety procedures will be followed and all that. It's all COVID safe. And then are you guys gonna go on a tour this year as well? Or
Yeah, it'll be just a small tour. We're just going to one school next week on Tuesday for just a little like practice run to get like a big audience kind of feel. And then Friday, we'll be driving up to L'Orange and then doing our show there, which is great. L'Orange is like, they really enjoy us. They've asked us to come every single year without fail up to L'Orange because they just really enjoy the show. And then that's it. And then next, the 14th, 15th, the 15th to the 19th at the Broadway Theatre. And you can get tickets at the broadwaytheatre.ca. And yes, there are school matinees available and everything like that too.
Right on. Yeah, it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. So, so tell us a little bit more about, so we've got Danny as the director, Curtis, of course, was the playwright, and he's actually told me in the interview that he has the idea for, it's been a while since he's written them, but you know, they've been around for 20 years now. I can't believe that, 20 years of the kohkoms, and kohkoms from Kihwetinook. And he has ideas for 2 more plays, but he hasn't written them yet. But he kind of, you know, he's ready to tie them up and it'll be the 12 plays of Christmas, he said. I love that. But who else is involved in the cast and crew? Like, who haven't we mentioned? We've got the 4 actors, and we've got Danny, and we've got, of course, Curtis, who wrote the play. And then Liam is your stage manager. And then who else is involved? Costumes and design.
We have Jeff Chief for costume designer. We have Aaliyah McNabb for our set. We have Delvin. I'm not really sure of his last name, how to pronounce, but we have Delvin for lighting. And then we also have
Corey for sound design.
Right on. So big cast and crew kind of doing the whole thing. So we're kind of like in the last minute or 2 of the show, but what's one more thing you would like the audience to know about the play and why they should come see it?
We love doing what we do, and we can't wait for everyone to see it because we have a wonderful story to tell.
Absolutely. It's amazing. It really gets you in the holiday spirit for sure. So come and check us out at the Broadway Theatre, 15th to 19th of December.
Right on. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. So Kishi Marcy to our relatives tonight. So we had Dalton Lightfoot and Ezra Forrest from GTNT, Gordon Peeteetuce's Naganawan Theatre, and talking about Mekiwin the Gift. So come see it. It's amazing. It's another Rez Christmas story with the kohkoms of Kihwetinook, written by Curtis Peeteetuce, and it's you'll laugh, you'll cry, and you'll have a great time. So Niwagamaganuk, all my relations, and believe me, we are all related, so act like you've got relations. This is Auntie Andy signing out from Homelands, originally produced on CFCR Community Radio 90.5 FM in Saskatoon, Homelands of the Métis and Treaty 6 territories, cfcr.ca. You can follow us on Twitter at Métis Homelands, email us at métishomelands@gmail.com, and this episode will also be viewable on our YouTube channel Homelands, so subscribe today. Marcy, thank you for listening, and Akoshi Kawapa Matino Mina. That's all. We'll see you later.